is a show that focuses on the person behind the Brony. I'm your host, OsakaJack. Please sit back and relax as we talk to this week's guest, Brony. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Into the Spotlight. This is your host, OsakaJack. With me today, I have someone who has a lengthy screen name, but not an impossible one to say. Miss Firefly TwinkleToes. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty well. How are you?
Quite well. Enjoying myself.
Very good. Very important in this world. Well, if you don't mind, what is the etymology behind your name, Firefly TwinkleToes? How did you come about this?
It's actually, originally I had Firefly TwinkleToes as my email. And
Okay.
this is something that I came up with one summer day when I was trotting down the road gaily to get some candy.
I'll
When I
insert
was
some theme
13.
music. Da, 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 da. Okay, sorry.
Yes. I thought it up one random day when I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it. I thought it was random at the time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I based my email off of it, and I just never got rid of that email. And so when I went to making new accounts on different sites and stuff like that, I couldn't think of anything because I'm not a very original person.
I see.
So I just kept using it.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I like the idea of, fireflies because I'm a redhead and things that sparkle appeal to me, and
Okay.
it's not very complicated.
That's fine. Now, redheads of the world unite. We are ginger. We are proud.
Excellent.
Well, if anyone is not familiar with your work, can you describe what do you do?
Well, I have been on DAA for the last year or so, DeviantArt,
Mm.
and mainly I've been making pony plushes, so My Little Pony, and also, infrequently now at least, Pokemon hats.
Okay.
So I sew a lot and make cute little accessories and generally enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm. Very important. Very important. How did you get started making these plushies?
Originally I got interested in making Pokemon hats because I was very bored.
Okay, so
Uh,
the Pokemon hats came first.
the Pokemon hats did come first. Um, there was a local convention in town. I live in Victoria, BC,
Okay.
and we have a very small convention.
Mm-hmm.
Not very many vendors are attracted to our convention because it's so tiny.
Gotcha.
Um, and I had some fleece in my cupboard, and I had a sewing machine sitting right there, and I wanted to sew something.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been interested in Pokemon for a number of years, and I have lots of friends that are interested in Pokemon.
Right.
So
Okay.
I decided to make some cute hats with this fleece I had.
Ah,
And then I forgot to stop.
okay.
And I ended up with 60 hats
Oh my.
piled in the corner of my room. And I had a lot of fun making them. And then I realized that I really didn't want to keep any of them because while I really like making stuff, I don't like wearing hats.
Okay.
So I decided to sign up for a booth for my local convention and ended up selling out there basically.
Goodness.
And
So
that
you
was
you sold
it.
all 60 hats?
I sold all, well, I sold 59 of them.
Okay.
I didn't sell the Reshiram hat that I'd made.
Not for lack of trying or just because you wanted to keep it or
Not for lack of trying. I could have sold it if I lowered the price on it, but
okay.
it was a really difficult hat to make.
Right, right.
So I decided I'd rather keep it than sell it at a low price.
I can understand. Sure.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that was really, really, it was wonderful to know that other people liked my stuff and that they liked it enough to spend money on it, which is a very different thing from just liking something.
Right, right. Yes, when they're willing to pay for your work, that is a big eye opener. Really?
It's
I can get
huge,
money for this?
yeah, huge sense of vindication.
I see though that you've also done some other hats. Not
Uh,
many, but a few.
yeah, I have done a couple. Basically, I'll make pretty much whatever people ask me to.
Okay.
Um, I've done some other kind of anthropomorphic, fuzzy, furry character hats,
Totoro.
and I basically just really like working with designs. And as long as it can be worked into the hat shape, I'll make pretty much anything.
Okay. All right. Hmm. I see there's Totoro there.
Yes. Oh, I forgot I did those. I did Totoro. Huge fan of Totoro. Always have been. I liked Totoro way back before I knew even Studio Ghibli was a thing.
Uh-huh.
I was very young. Um, and I also did some Full Metal Alchemist, at least one Full Metal Alchemist hat, because let's face it, Metal Alchemist is amazing.
Yes, absolutely. It is, I don't know, for me, it is odd to see a Full Metal Alchemist thing so fuzzy.
Especially when the character that I made the hat of is made of metal in the
Yes,
film.
that's kind of messing with my mind right now. A fuzzy metal thing.
But it wouldn't be comfortable if it was a metal
Oh
hat.
no, I'm not questioning how it works. Just it's conflicting images for me. It's metal,
Oh,
but it's fuzzy. It's metal.
my basic rationale is to make everything fuzzy
I think
because
this
if
is
it's
good. Yeah.
hard, then it breaks my sewing machine.
Yes, I would imagine that trying to sew sheet metal would be very difficult. You'd need a
Yeah,
really strong needle. Hmm.
I'd have to get a new machine.
Every single day. Yes.
Yes.
What started you into the pony plushes, though? At what point did you cross over from doing Pokemon hats to, oh, I can do this pony stuff?
Well, after I sold out all of my Pokemon hats,
Hmm.
um, I was I didn't have a new project to do because there wasn't going to be another convention until next year. I didn't want to start making hats again, but I did want to sew things because I love sewing things. I just
Right.
love the act of making. Um, and one of my roommates actually had been watching My Little Pony and doing it in the closet brony kind of way.
Okay.
Like he'd go to his room and watch ponies.
Okay.
And he tried to get us interested in it once or twice, and I think he chose the wrong episodes to pitch it to us. I think.
Oh, that's a shame.
Um, and I was really skeptical. I was not at all interested in ponies at that point.
Hmm.
And then I started looking on the internet and looking at all the derivative art that had come from My Little Pony,
Hmm. Hmm.
and being like, wow, this community is really, really productive. And then I saw the plushes that people were making, and I thought, that's something I could do. I think I could do a good job of that.
Hmm.
And honestly, part of what drew me to it at first was that I saw like some of these things were auctioning on eBay for frankly ridiculous amounts of money.
Yes, yes.
And being a student, I do need to pay my bills. So that was also appealing. But
Hmm. You're not doing this as a full charity thing? Oh, how could you?
yeah, no, I'm not that much of a saint. So
No, no
I
thanks.
talked to my friend, and he was like, yeah, you should definitely do that. But if you're going to do this, you have to watch My Little Pony because it would just be insulting to the community if you made money off of it and didn't watch the show.
I
And I
can
looked,
understand the point of view. I wouldn't say insulting, but I would say kind of. Uh, I would say it's easier to understand what you're making and how you're making and what they want if you're a
oh,
fan of the
absolutely,
show as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have felt nearly comfortable, like nearly as comfortable with creating these characters and giving them personality
Mm,
if I wasn't part of the fandom or at least hadn't watched the show at all.
right.
So he was like, "So you have to watch My Little Pony." And I was like, "Okay." So he was all excited, and we sat down on the couch and we started watching, obviously from the beginning this time.
Mm,
Um, and the first episode is I don't even know if I like the first episode now.
hmm.
It's kind of segmented and broken up.
Right.
They need to introduce a lot of things, so it's not as interesting. But
Mm,
anyway, we got through the first episode, and I was like, okay, I can watch more of this.
hmm.
Got to the second episode, and I was like, yes, Care Bear stare. This is more, more. And so I was a pretty easy convert,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and I'm really glad that I got into My Little Pony because I really, really enjoy making these things.
Good.
It's wonderful.
It does show in your work. I mean, you put a lot of effort into these.
I try to.
Mm,
I sometimes run into an attack of laziness, but I try to beat that out of myself,
right.
especially when I'm making things for other people who are, paying good money. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I like, I don't like the sense that I could make something and somebody could give me their hard-earned cash and then they'd not be happy with it. I think that would
Sure.
break my heart.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody would agree with us on this. I know that there are some who'll just take money and that's nothing to them. And well, okay, more props to them for being born into that life or achieving that life. But no, I'd feel shame.
Yeah, yeah, so would I. And especially if it like particularly if the error had been on my end, if I hadn't tried hard enough to make it look like their concept of it,
Sure.
or like if they'd asked for something impossible,
Hmm.
then I would tell them that beforehand and say, this is what my capabilities allow.
Right.
But no, I want to make them happy.
Hmm.
And it's wonderful that I'm able to do something where I can do that on a
Yeah.
very regular basis. It's quite fulfilling.
I am curious which episode you were shown that was a misfire.
My friend showed me the Hearts and Hooves Day episode.
That was the first one? Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
And I thought it was so sappy and
Yeah.
oh, and specifically the song from the Hearts and Hooves Day.
Yeah.
The this one's too strangely obsessed with tubs of jelly.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I just gagged a little when I wasn't a brony. I gagged a little at that. So
Yeah, I think it's a great episode, but I don't think a great introduction.
no, no, I don't think so much. But
Though
I like the
I am
episode now.
sure I'm sure there are some people who that was the first episode and they loved it because of it. Okay.
Yep.
Everybody has different favorites. If my students are interested in My Little Pony, if they give me a chance, then I always start with Ticketmaster.
Oh yes. Yeah, that's a good one and a good lesson,
It's a
especially
good
for
one. It's a good lesson, and you get almost equal airtime for each of the main six. And
yes.
it doesn't feel too rushed.
Yeah, that's
I
a good point. That's a
Mhm.
nice idea.
I tried at some point. A lot of people's favorite episode is Party of One, which is a great episode. But every student that I've tried to show that with, they don't care for it.
It's not a good one to start with unless you are invested in Pinkie Pie. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter to you.
Well, and especially for my students, Pinkie Pie just speaks too quickly in that episode for them to understand.
Oh yes,
So
yeah,
they don't feel that it's something that they could learn from. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But I don't know. The Hearts and Hooves Day is it's. I am romantic. I am a romantic,
Hmm.
but it is so sappily sweet that it makes even me cringe.
Schmoopy Doo!
Shmoopidoo.
Well, now here's a question. If somebody asked for it, would you make a plushie of the strangely obsessed with tubs of jelly pony?
Absolutely.
I wish to see this now.
Actually, somebody the other day asked me if I could make a snowflake plushie.
Oh, okay. Snowflake or snowdrop?
Um, Snowflake is the one with the hurrah
Oh, right,
pony.
snowflake. Okay, yes, yes, yes. Of
Yes,
course.
somebody asked me to make the hurrah pony,
That could be interesting.
and I said yes, I could, but it would take me a while, and it
Sure.
would cost more than a normal pony because I'd have to make a very different pattern.
I'm thinking you have to make. I don't think it'll be an exclusive pattern because I don't know. I don't so I couldn't tell you. But I think the pattern that you use for that, with a slight adjustment, you could make an iron will.
Oh, that's true. You could at least use the torso of
Yeah.
Snowflake for Iron Will.
Well, they have similar lower bodies too, itty bitty legs.
Itty bitty leg.
Just Snowflake is a pony shape where he goes horizontal, but Iron Will goes vertical from the itty bitty pony legs.
Yeah, that would make quite a few differences in the pattern, but still, there's an idea.
Yay!
Hooray!
I love Iron Will. I really hope he comes back. I really do. But
I don't know what kind of episode it would be if he came back.
yeah, I'm not sure how to work him in, but I'm sure it could be done. Just I hope.
I
That's
have become even more assertive, and now I am back to demand my money from Fluttershy.
well. Let's see. If I'm put on the spot to imagine a scenario when Iron Will comes back, we'll take it to the other end. After being shamed by Fluttershy, he lost all confidence, lost all of his money, and comes to Ponyville a broken and humbled Minotaur who breaks down into tears at the slightest misfortune
Oh,
and can't even rhyme anymore.
that's terrible. He is
Iron
the
Will says, "Get out of my way, or I'll really get upset because you're not listening to me, and I'm a person too. I just want to walk down the street without people staring at me."
That would be amazing. You should write into Hasbro.
No, can't do that. If the writers see something, that guarantees it will never be an episode. That's the worst way to make it become something.
Is that true?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Writers are legally not allowed to read fanfics or look at any future ideas that fans have, mostly. Just
Okay, so
because yeah.
here's what you got to do. You got to work on developing cross-continental telepathy.
I figure if I can find a way to bribe Luna to invade their dreams and just say, hey, Iron Will comes back. It'd be a good idea. That's my best shot.
That could work. We can always hope anyway.
Well, on the OCs on the ponies that you've done a lot of OCs, I see.
Yes, I have.
Have there been any that have stuck out in your mind as either particularly difficult or original?
I love making OCs.
Oh.
It's so fun to work with the designs that people have come up with. I'd almost preferentially make OCs.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But and also people are always really happy to see their OC plushified.
This is true.
Like it's something I created and now it's solid. That's amazing, kind of thing.
Right.
I'd say Achille Amethyst's OC White Light was fairly difficult to do.
Okay.
It was an interesting project, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But that hair was just, oh, it kicked my butt. Like at first I was trying to come up with different ways to do the gradient from the blonde to the brown.
Okay.
And you can't dye Minky. It's polyester. Polyester, it just doesn't take dye.
Right.
At least I haven't found a way to make it take dye. And
so it's do or die then?
It's basically just dye. You don't have
Gotcha. Okay.
dye with a DIE, not
yes.
no.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking.
So that was pretty frustrating. I think I redid her mane and tail. I wasted a lot of fabric, like 3 times. Goodness. 3 complete versions of her mane and tail.
Wow.
But I don't know. I'd have to look through my backlog of OCs to really give a good idea. But I remember that one as being really difficult. But, in the end, I was really happy with the results.
Yeah, it does look good.
Oh, and recently, the one I did for the Traveling Pony Museum, that was
I was thinking of this one as well, yeah. The Aethernaut, isn't it?
Yes.
Aethernaut, yeah.
Yeah. She was, again, quite a challenge. That hair is so...
That's big hair. That is really big 80s hair. Yep.
It is really big 80s hair. And I had to figure out a way to make her goggles go underneath it. And how to counterbalance her so that she wouldn't do a face plant.
I'm guessing iron fillings in the back legs.
I was thinking that at first, but it turned out as long as I stuffed the tail firmly enough,
gotcha.
She balanced herself fairly nicely.
Okay, all right.
If I'd really needed to, I would have put plastic pellets or something similar in the bottom of her tail.
You know what? Okay, I'm just thinking now, there is actually a company in Japan, and I'm going somewhere with this, just thinking on your plastic pellets and the weight idea. There's a company in Japan that if you give them specific measurements, they will make a teddy bear that was the exact weight of your baby when it was born.
Oh.
And they'll like stitch and embroider like its name or things on the paws or whatnot. Do you think... I know right now, not a lot of bronies have newborn babies. But we've seen some marriages come out recently. So the next step is new kids. If somebody asked you, if they gave you specific weight, do you think you would be able to make an OC of the weight of their baby?
How accurate are we talking?
To the ounce.
To the ounce. Definitely.
Okay.
It would take a little bit of fiddling with differently weighted materials.
Sure.
But I think it would definitely be possible because a pony is much lighter than a baby.
Right. Oh, yes, so obviously.
I'd just have to make it heavier.
Right.
And then the shipping would be expensive.
Of course, yes. I actually had one of those bears made for my nephew's first Christmas, and yeah, shipping from Japan was almost as much as the bear itself.
Yeah. The weight is more important than size.
Waiting is the hardest part. Okay, sorry. Two bad puns. That's my quota. I'll be done for the day. Okay.
Oh no, please give me more. I love puns.
If they arise, then I'll come up with them.
Yeah, they're kind of spontaneous.
I'd like to, well, not on OC, but just any of them in general. What has been one of the more difficult plushies that you've made?
One of the more difficult plushies that I've made.
I have my own guess, and it's one of the more recent ones, but I won't say anything.
You mind if I take a look to scan through my gallery for a little bit?
Of course. Or you could just, if one sticks out in your mind as, oh, it took me forever to get this part right.
Well, the princesses are always really difficult, but I haven't made that many of them.
Okay.
Um, the recent, okay, they're always more difficult if they have clothes. I think it's clothes that really kill me a lot of the time.
Right.
Camping rarity was really difficult, although fun.
Sure, sure.
Um, Same thing with Twilight Star Swirl.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay.
And I'm not sure. Probably Chrysalis has been one of the most difficult ones to do, even though I don't do the holes in her feet.
Right.
I think next time, if I was going to do another Chrysalis, I would do the holes. I have a new idea for them.
Oh, interesting.
The old Pinkie Pie that I made, the Pinkie Pie with the tuxedo, that was so, oh, that, oh. The fabric that I chose for her tuxedo was perhaps the not the best choice.
Okay.
It frayed really easily,
Oh, no.
and I think I remade the suit like 3 times, and I'd sew the seams together, and then I'd tug at them to make sure they were secure because I didn't want them to come apart.
Right.
And then the whole thing would just fall apart.
Oh, oh no.
So that was a bit of a nightmare. But I'm curious, which one did you think would be quite bad?
Galoshes.
Galoshes!
I just looking at it because I've heard other plushie makers mention how difficult clothing is, and just looking at this Applejack from suited for success with her original idea with the hat and the dress and galoshes.
Yes. Actually, I don't know if I'd say Applejack was one of the more difficult ones. I found that I could make her outfit in a very modular kind of way, so piece by piece. And then
Stitching
just
it
put
together, right.
put all the pieces together afterwards. The boots took me like a full day just to make the boots. The boots were the hardest part.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I was thinking it, because 4 galoshes just seems to be
Yeah. I ended up making them, they're partly made of stiff interfacing, minky, and cardboard.
Oh, okay.
Because I had to actually make cardboard inserts for the shoes so they'd hold that shape.
Yeah, that always struck me as odd, why a pony would choose a human foot shape for a non-human foot.
Yeah, and it made making them very awkward.
Of course.
And then there was, of course, the skirt of that plush. I didn't have any fabric that was close enough to it, so I stitched together over 100 little squares to make her skirt.
Oh, goodness.
But that was more time-consuming than difficult.
Okay, all right.
Lining up all of the edges perfectly.
I'm sorry, but the song is running through my head. Piece by piece, stitching it together. Even though we're talking about the other version of the dress.
Yeah. Cutting out the pattern, snip by snip.
Making sure the pattern folds nicely. It's a perfect color and so hip.
Yeah, I love that song.
It's
Rarity is just amazing for that. She's not my favorite pony, but she is amazing.
Wonderful singer. I love the singing voice so much.
Most of the ponies have different actors for their singing voices, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Only exceptions that I know of would be Fluttershy and Apple Bloom.
Yeah.
And Rainbow Dash.
Still, I'm really impressed.
Applejack, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
They managed to make it fit so nicely. It still sounds like the character. So.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you don't know that it's a separate person doing the singing, you might not pick it up at all.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a well done show.
You think? I would argue that. I
mean, it's okay, I guess.
Yeah. This kind of fandom pops up, around every, show that's just a flash in the pan type thing.
It's pretty regular, you know.
Yeah. I mean, goodness, how many conventions did we have for? I'm trying to think of a show that didn't last very long. Ben 10. I mean, how many Ben 10 conventions have we had? Dozens. Okay. I'm not harping on that show at all. It's just the first example that came to mind.
I don't even know that one, to be honest.
I've never seen it, but I have heard of it, and I know that at least Charlotte Fullerton, who works on Pony, also works on that show. So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
would love to see a lot of the animation that has come out in the last few years, but it doesn't come to Japan so easily.
Oh no.
If Japan has a glut of anything, it's animation.
Yes, but their own kind of animation.
Very true. Which is why occasionally we'll get something
Yes.
like Pony, or the new Transformers actually comes over here.
If
Oddly
you're gonna
enough,
get something, it might as well be Pony.
yeah, Pony is one of the first foreign animations to come over here that is dual cast, so you can listen to it in English or Japanese.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yes. I always choose Japanese because I know the English one really well, and I'd like to hear their version on the Japanese, but
Yeah. So are the English ones shortened as well in Japan?
well, I mean it's simulcast, so it's literally you're watching the show and you push
Oh,
a
you
button to
just
switch back and forth between which language you want.
okay. You can choose the audio. So
Yeah, yeah,
oh well. Still, good thing.
yeah. Still good. I wish they wouldn't cut those 30 seconds out for Pony Slot, but I'm still happy it's on.
Well, if it's mostly Spike they cut out, then I won't be too upset. I mean, I love all characters equally.
You know what? Just thinking, you just mentioned it, and I'm looking. Have you made a Spike plush?
I have not made a Spike plush.
Oh, nobody's requested a Spike plush from you, or you have refused.
Nobody has requested a Spike plush for me. Um,
Aghast.
I have. I would have to make a new pattern again, and
Of course.
making patterns is a very difficult process for me.
Yes.
So I'm not always willing to take on projects that require making new patterns, unlike somebody like Magnastorm, for example, who is constantly making new patterns and is fantastic at it.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me like a week of intense concentration to come up with a new pattern,
Wow.
and I am extremely unsociable
Mm-hmm.
when I am coming up with a new pattern. I just am an absolute bear,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't afford to I can't afford to be in that mind state right now because I have to do school and other things.
Right. I can understand that. Sure, sure.
Yeah, but
It's like an
I might do it.
introvert cave.
Spike seems like the kind of thing that you should take time out of your life for. I have made an angel bunny,
I see that. Yeah. And it's
and
got the good expression.
yes, somebody asked me to make a tank once, but that didn't go through.
Oh. Didn't go
I
through as in they didn't weren't able to pay, or just didn't work.
didn't go through as in they didn't realize that tank would be an entire different plush and therefore as expensive as an entire different plush.
I see. Okay. So they thought it'd be like an extra $5.
Well, not five, but
Okay.
less than I was willing to make it for.
Right. I understand.
But
Yeah,
they did get Rainbow Dash, so happy story.
there we go. Hey, you get a dash, you can't complain. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cannot. I really hope I'm able to save up enough to get swag when I go to Everfree.
Oh yeah. I
I'm,
mean, the whole point of going to conventions is getting swag.
is it? Okay, I didn't know.
Well, part of the point. I mean,
Okay,
if there's
okay.
really good people presenting and lots of excellent panels, then
Hmm.
that can be the main point. But I do know some people who go to conventions specifically to get neat stuff.
Cool.
Like they'll save up all year.
I've been trying. It's been hard. I've been trying.
Okay,
Every meal, I'm like, okay, I can have boring pasta, and that's another few dollars towards it, or I can go out and get something tasty. Okay.
malnutrition or Everfree? Malnutrition or Everfree?
Well, I am hoping to save up enough to buy some really nice American multivitamins when I'm in the States.
Excellent.
They have multivitamins here, but they charge so much for them.
Oh, really?
Oh,
That's
yeah, just
interesting.
through the nose for them.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I think it's because they can. I said that sarcastically, but it is true. I mean, price of something is what people will pay for it.
That is the reason for a lot of things in life, to be brutally honest.
Yep. It's just within the last 3 or 4 years that the price of dental floss has dropped beneath $5.
Huh.
Because dental floss was not something oft purchased here, so they could charge a lot for it.
Wow. You'd think that people would need to floss their teeth.
Or would want to, yes, but no.
Well, want to.
No, dentists are avoided unless you have pain over here, so.
Oh, okay. So I'm guessing they don't have the annual dental visits where you get a little tiny thing of dental floss handed
No,
out.
not at all. Not at all. Actually, Japanese dentists have petitioned the government to not allow fluoride to be included in toothpaste.
Why?
Because if people have fluoride in their home toothpaste, then their teeth will last longer and they won't be in pain, so they won't go to the dentist as much, so the dentist will go out of business.
I've got to say that's somewhat evil.
Somewhat. That's about as far on the evil scale as you can get in my mind.
Um, my
Well,
evil
okay.
scale
No.
is fairly extensive.
Yeah, this is true. I'm just thinking the pain that comes with a cavity and in wishing that on people. Just
I've never had a cavity, so I can't
knock on
sympathize.
wood. I've only had one, and that was when I was 8 years old. But I still remember that pain quite clearly.
Yes, you could put on what's it called? Uh, that song about dentists by Owl City. That's really jolly. Dental care. It would get them to come back, maybe.
Dental care is a good one, but honestly, if I'm going to do a dental song, I'm going to do Steve Martin's "I'll Be a Dentist" from Little Shop of Horrors.
I have never seen Little Shop of Horrors, and I really should.
Yes, you should. If you like macabre, musical, dark comedies, I recommend it. Yep.
I am actually fairly opposed to macabre things, but
This is done in such a comedic way that it's worth it. It really is.
oh, that's fair enough. As long as it's hilarious.
Steve
I do
Martin. Steve
really
Martin
like,
singing as a dentist. That alone is worth the price of admission for me.
and Steve Martin is fantastic.
Absolutely.
I did very much like that horror movie coming out of New Zealand, Black Sheep.
Have not seen that, but I can kind of get the idea just because you said New Zealand and sheep.
It's so funny.
I can.
If you want to watch a terrible B movie that will just make you laugh from start to finish as blood splatters everywhere, then watch Black Sheep.
Interesting. I'll look forward to that. I know that the group at 5 Second Films, as of recording this, they've just started a Kickstarter to get their B movie splatter movie made called Brood. Oh, Dude Bro Party Massacre.
That sounds terrible, and I'd probably watch it.
They have claimed that it will have more grisly murders than any movie that has ever been produced to date.
Oh, wow. If they're shooting for that, then I'm sure it will. So have they watched all of the other grisly murders and counted, or all of the other grisly movies and counted up the murders?
I believe so. Based on what they're planning, this looks like it. I mean, it's a Kickstarter, so honestly, if you donate enough, you can be one of the people who gets killed. So I think they're having a pretty open script there.
That is pretty neat.
As of recording of this interview, they're currently at almost 50,000 of their $200,000 goal. So I think they're going to make it. They still have a full 30 days.
Well, if you're giving incentives like that, then there's a reason to donate.
Yes.
I get to get killed on screen. Yay!
Yay! Be movie style. Woohoo!
Almost as good as having your pony OC star in an episode of My Little Pony. Who are we kidding? It's not nearly as good as that. But still pretty awesome.
So if somebody decides to request a plushie of Black Sheep, would you do that?
I could probably do that, yeah. Right down to the creepy eyes and the blood-stained chompers.
Lovely. Well, there's not quite as many of them, but you do drawings as well.
Oh, yeah, from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Definitely not very often. I kind of went on a drawing kick last Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I was away from my sewing machine for quite a while, so I basically spent my entire Christmas break drawing and knitting.
Okay. All right.
And I was very bored by the end of it. I wanted my sewing machine back. But I do very much enjoy drawing. And same thing with drawings as with plushes, I guess. I really like drawing OCs. And, ponies are kind of a fun, fairly simple thing to draw. So I've been sticking to that since I'm also, already part of Fandom. I've been known to draw other things in the past, but I never really pushed them on DA. I'm definitely not a line artist. I'm never going to call myself one. I don't have nearly enough time in my life to become good at it, although it's something that I really envy in other people. And
I wouldn't, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't say you're bad, and I would say you're better than I am at it, to be sure.
Well, it's something I enjoy it and I try to be good at it, but I definitely would never take commissions.
Okay.
Ever.
Right.
Like, there are so many people out there who are excellent at drawing everything under the sun, not only ponies. I just do it as a way to relax, really, and I love having original characters, so I have my 2 original characters as well that I draw from time to time.
Yes, 2 OCs, how did they come about?
Well, when I first got into the fandom, I was kind of puttering along for a while, and then I noticed that everybody had original characters, and I kind of wanted to jump on that bandwagon. It seemed like an interesting thing to do, have a pony that you designed. So I was doodling for a while, and actually in my gallery, if you look in my DeviantArt gallery, in my drawings folder, there is the very first ever drawing of EXO that I put up there, and it is awful. It's a scanned, pencil-drawn, hurriedly scribbled in with pencil crayons atrocity, and I should really take it down.
Too late, I've got it.
Yeah. So basically I just doodled and doodled and doodled until I came up with something I liked. And actually EXO was not the first. I made another one before her, but
Really?
Yeah, there's a couple of drawings of her in my folder as well. She's called Cloudburst.
Cloudburst, okay.
But she was too complicated. I didn't like her personality and I never cottoned on to her. So she kind of got relegated to the scrap bin.
Darn shame.
Yeah. Like, originally I made a Pegasus Cloudburst because I've always been fascinated with flying. I wish I had giant feathery wings, to be honest. But I don't know, she just didn't work out. So that's why later down the line I came up with Slipstream.
I see. Okay.
And I love her design. She's just so colorful, and lately I've become obsessed with commissioning people to draw me pictures of them because I very much appreciate other people's drawn art.
Sure.
So that's fun. I really like doing that. EXO is more my pony Sona. She's got more of me in her than Slipstream does.
Okay.
And I don't know, what else do you want to know about them?
No, that's good. I was more curious who came first, but apparently EXO did.
EXO did, yeah, and she's evolved quite a bit over time, but
Gotcha.
I'm happy with where she's at right now.
Why the feathers in her hair?
They got in there on a whim. I think I was harkening a little bit back to wanting to have a Pegasus OC, but knowing that I wouldn't, if I had a pony Sona, I wouldn't be a Pegasus because I'd want to be a Pegasus kind of thing.
Okay, I can see that, sure.
And yeah, I just like having little accessories here and there, but I didn't want to over accessorize, so.
Okay.
Nothing special there. No huge backstory. The thing she usually wears around her throat, though, it's supposed to be a marble that has a tiny little sprout in it, like her cutie mark.
Okay.
And that's kind of supposed to be a reminder of who she is, because you can't always turn and look at your flank. You can't always turn and look back.
Right.
So that's there to reminder of what she's supposed to be doing in
life. Okay. What? EXO's cutie mark is the sprout. I'm sorry, I don't recognize Slipstreams.
Slipstreams, it's not anything coherent. Her special talent is diving.
Okay.
Like whether that's from a great height in the air, or actually she's supposed to be kind of a water pony.
Okay.
So she dives into the ocean. She's kind of like a seabird.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's meant to represent that kind of a helical swirl, the swirl that you get around somebody as they dove into the ocean, and bubbles coming up.
I see. Okay. So, I gotcha. Okay.
Kind of abstract, but there you
Well,
go.
I don't know, totally abstract. I mean, it is related to what you're studying now, isn't it?
Yes, it is related to what I'm studying now. I love the ocean. I have loved the ocean for many, many years. Grew up by the ocean, and definitely involved in my work. Um, Also, I just really love swimming. I
Mhm.
grew up spending hours and hours every time that I could in the ocean.
That's nice.
Um, so yeah,
Speaking as a Midwestern boy, the concept of the ocean never really registered to me until I was able to visit it in person.
yeah, I've been in a couple of places where the ocean was not close enough for me to see,
Uh-huh.
or, and I hated it. Even in places like where I live, very close to the ocean, sometimes you can't see the ocean, but you can feel that it's there, like
Mhm.
the way the air feels and stuff. But I was in the prairies once,
Mhm.
and I just felt so trapped.
I can understand, having grown up in the flatlands. Yeah, I understand. But I can tell you there is a way to see the ocean. Um, you have to find a large field of tall grass and
Hmm.
just wait for the wind to blow. You'll see the waves right there. It
That's a golden ocean. I like mine to be gray.
Okay. Yeah, not the same. I understand that, but
That is definitely beautiful, and I did
yeah.
appreciate it's gorgeous.
Well, real fast, I mentioned it briefly, but yeah, you are currently studying jellyfish.
I am currently studying jellyfish. I was studying snails until earlier this year,
Hmm.
until my project got changed on me abruptly.
Oh no.
Anyway, but I am a master's student,
Mm.
and our lab technically studies the embryology and ontogeny of mollusks.
Ooh.
And obviously, a jellyfish is not a mollusk, it's an cnidarian.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we basically do all sorts of stuff with baby marine invertebrates.
Okay.
So right
Only
now,
baby?
mostly baby ones, yeah,
Okay.
because we're studying the way they develop, the way they grow.
Gotcha.
So currently in my lab, I have about 500 baby jellyfish in jars.
Wow.
They reproduce quite quickly,
Yes, yes. I
and they are about one-fifth the size of your pinky fingernail when they are, well, for want of a better word, born.
Okay. Huh. That's itty bitty.
It is tiny, and they're adorable.
Okay, when you describe them in that size, I can understand it. But when you just said a lab full of jellyfish in jars, honestly, if there was ever a premise for a B movie, a B horror movie, that right there is it.
If they were box jellyfish, I would be afraid, very afraid.
Yes.
They come in the night with their tentacles.
Uh, you can't even hear them. I mean, that would be the downside, is you couldn't really have a scary roar or something, just kind of.
I don't know. I think that could be menacing if you did it right.
Yeah, possibly, possibly.
You think you're feeding them, but soon they'll be feeding on you.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful tagline. We're taking it.
Somebody pitch this to Kickstarter.
How quickly do they reach maturity?
Um, they are technically mature at a couple of months.
Okay, very
Um,
quickly then.
Again, I'm interested in them when they're quite small.
Right.
So by the time they reach adulthood, I just kind of keep them as pets after
Okay.
that point because I really don't want to go around murdering bunches of jellyfish.
Yes.
Um, generally, once they get to about um, a centimeter in diameter,
Hmm.
I can't really use them anymore. But they get quite large. They get about to 10 centimeters or more across.
Okay. All right. So about the width of a hand.
Yeah,
Okay. Huh.
and they can get larger than that, but it's less frequent.
Right.
Yeah,
Huh.
but they're quite fun to work on.
I mean, I know most types of jellyfish are not harmful to me, but at the same time, I think it's like with bees or flying insects. I
Mm,
know most of them are incapable of harming me, but if an unknown one is buzzing around my face, I'm going to freak out a little bit.
Fair enough. Well, you can expect jellyfish to not buzz around your face.
True.
But um, I am studying one of the most innocuous species of jellyfish. They're found pretty much everywhere, from here where I live in BC, Canada, to the Black Sea in Japan and wherever.
Wow.
And they have absolutely no sting. The only way you can get hurt by them is if you have a severe allergic reaction to them.
Okay. Best to not test, though.
Yeah. I mean, they can sting, but they're not
Sure.
strong enough to sting us.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So they're fine. Give a passing moon jellyfish a pat next time.
That's like 2/3 of a song right there. Give a passing moon jellyfish a pat sometime. I can see it. It's like an Astaire hit where you get somebody tap dancing in the background.
Would it be, what kind of genre would it be? Is this like a country and western, or?
No. I'm thinking like a smooth jazz, happy singing in the rain type. Do. Give a moon jellyfish a pat as they go past. Type thing. Hat and cane just dancing by, giving a pat to jellyfish as they swim through the air.
That would be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
More
That's what I
things
say.
I'd like to see animated.
So I don't see any, but jellyfish plushies?
Oh, I really should sometime. I actually want to make jellyfish, squid, and octopus hats.
Oh, okay.
And I have made squid and octopus tiny little beanie plushies before. I think
Okay.
they're still in my gallery.
Mm.
Under other or something like that.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe a jellyfish pillow?
Okay, there we go.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that on your commissions, you don't like to keep things. You prefer to make them and give them away or make them and sell them. But I'm thinking if you made a jellyfish plushie, you might be keeping that one.
Yeah, I'd probably get rid of a few pillows on my bed to make room for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it is true. I don't keep that much. In stark contrast to the lovely Space Voyager.
Yes, was going to mention that. Mm-hmm.
I love her work. Her work is amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I love the act of making, but once it's made, just letting it sit on a shelf and kind of poking it every once in a while doesn't make me happy. So I'd rather somebody else had it.
I can totally understand that. I
Yeah,
absolutely can.
I've given away a lot of things that I've made in
Mm-hmm.
my lifetime just because, I make it for myself and I'm like, wow, this is such an awesome idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, but I'm not really going to use it. So
I am
you
the exact
have it.
same. I'm the exact same way about blind bag ponies. I love to get the boxes and open them up and oh, that's so cute. That's great. I'm gonna put you on your little display shelf. And like a week
Yeah.
later, I'm like, I gotta give you to somebody because you're just
Yeah.
sitting there.
That's what I really like about my boyfriend gets packs of Pokemon cards all the time.
Oh, nice.
And we have like a stack of Pokemon packs. And we just sit down at the kitchen table and tear them all open. And I get that lovely feeling of opening them and seeing what's inside.
Right.
I don't have to buy them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to do anything with them afterwards.
Mm.
So just the opening is my favorite part.
So we need to come up with a resealable box that you can put something inside, open it, have the joy of opening it, and then the box reseals itself, and you're ready for the next one.
Yes. And maybe it changes shape a little bit so it doesn't feel monotonous.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes, that would be my ideal present. Just a present you could open over and over again.
A question I ask in all of my interviews: in all of My Little Pony, what would you say is the one line or one scene that defines you as a brony?
Um, Let me make sure I get this right. Give me half a
Okay.
second. Wouldn't want to say it wrong for all of the fans.
Oh, I don't think it's that huge of a deal, but I'll give you leeway.
Okay. In season finale, the Canterlot wedding,
Okay.
where Queen Chrysalis says, What a lovely but absolutely ridiculous sentiment.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
Because I'm very aware at how involved the fandom is
Yes.
and how much they love My Little Pony. There's so much love, so much interest, so much productivity that comes out of My Little Pony.
Hmm, hmm.
And I like being reminded to not take it too seriously.
Okay. I can see that.
So I just when I heard and saw Chrysalis say that line,
Mm.
it was like My Little Pony was poking fun at themselves, and it made me very, very happy. And I love that line, and I think it really kind of shows how I feel about the fandom. I Not in as sarcastic a way
Hmm.
as Chrysalis said it,
Right.
because
Right.
the fandom is lovely, the show is lovely,
Mm.
but sometimes we take ourselves a little bit too seriously, and
I
I
would
think it's
agree.
good to be reminded of that.
This is an excellent point. That's a good thing. I do think it is odd, though, how Chrysalis, after sucking on Shining Armor's love, is able to knock out Celestia, but then mocks the idea that love can defeat her. Um, you you just blew away Celestia with a single shot. I don't think that's the kind of thing you should mock.
Well, she'd been eating love for weeks. How could any one
That's
pony
true.
have possibly have more love than her at that point?
That's a good point. That's an excellent point.
But she didn't count on what Cadence had left, I suppose.
Yeah. Or what Cadence was able to reignite within him,
Yeah,
combined
it's
with
just
her own. Yep.
maybe it just kind of really sucks for Chrysalis that Cadence's talent had to do with love.
That's possible.
That would be a key reason for her locking her under Canterlot.
Yeah. It would also be a pretty ridiculous reason to give them a way out of those caves.
Yeah, but she didn't do that on purpose.
She knew there was a way out. She put bridesmaids up there to guard it.
Yeah, but there were other obstacles. Like they had to blast through a solid wall, and then there was the
True, but
broken
if you
down fucking
remember,
car.
Twilight wasn't even trying to blast through the wall until Chrysalis egged her on. Oh, I'm over here. I'm over here. I'm over here. Before that, Twilight was scared.
I think that's just the classic downfall of villains, where
True.
they take too much time out to gloat.
Yep, that is an excellent point. Yep.
Yeah, and like all villains, Crystal suffered from it as well, and
Hmm.
that's her downfall.
Team Chrysalis is blasting off again. Whoa!
I did think that when I saw that
Hmm.
episode. Ding.
Yep, I think everybody imagined that tink sound. Pink.
Yeah, yeah. You mean it wasn't there?
I don't think so. You know what? My memory is obscured at this point.
Yeah.
It could
I
be.
mean, it's there in my mind, so who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. Well, is there anything that you'd like to plug while you're here? Oh, you did
Um,
mention it to me earlier, the upcoming DerpyCon.
Absolutely. I've been asked to make a large and impressive Derpy Hooves plush for the DerpyCon South. That's going to be going on in October. You can look that up online.
Mm-hmm.
And not too sure on the details yet, but
Okay.
definitely going to be larger than one of my normal plushes, and she may have accessories, and she's going to be the prize for some event or raffle or something like
Oh,
that.
nice. Okay.
So if you're going to DerpyCon, then that's something to look forward to.
Yes,
Or
wonderful.
it might even be a reason to go to DerpyCon.
Could be, sure.
Yeah,
I know that you mentioned on your DeviantArt that currently commissions are closed.
commissions are currently closed. I just actually just recently took a new set of commissions, and I only ever take 5 slots at a time.
Okay.
So once I'm done those 5, I'll be taking some more.
Okay.
I just don't want to take more than that because then you have to, make people wait for a really long time.
Right. Yeah.
And with me in school, people have to wait for a fairly long time anyway. So
Mm. So it's not an ego thing. It is a you're genuinely busy
I
thing.
am genuinely busy. I thought when I was going into grad school that I'd probably have time to, do 5 commissions a month.
Okay.
Hopefully, working nights and stuff like that,
Right.
nights and weekends. But it's just sometimes the work just knocks me out. I'm exhausted,
Oh,
and
sure.
also I really like having a full day to devote to making ponies if I'm going to be making ponies. doing them little bits at a time is not my style so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
So
can totally understand that. Sure.
yeah, it's more like month and a half, 2 months for 5 commissions, unfortunately. Um, I'm constantly trying to speed that up, but that's the way it is.
Hey, the quality speaks for itself. So, you can get faster ones at lower quality, but come on now. It's worth waiting for.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
So flattering. I think I might blush.
Aw. What a ridiculous sentiment. Okay, sorry.
Oh no, I like being flattered. Continue.
Oh. But are there
Uh,
any other cons or things that you're going to be attending soon?
Unfortunately, due to my master's workload, I have absolutely no time off for the next 2 years.
Oh, that's a shame.
So I won't be attending any conventions. I will have to live vicariously through the many of you who are privileged enough to go to conventions. I'd really like to go to a pony convention sometime. I've never been to a pony convention.
Neither have I. Everfree is going to be my first one.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of anime cons, but
Hmm.
it would be interesting to meet the community
Yeah, I think
in
so.
some other way than just, on the internet, which
Mhm,
is
mhm.
fairly sterile. Well, maybe not sterile.
Sterile. I understand what you're saying. They're not touching you is the thing. Yeah, but
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if I want them all touching me, but in the same room.
right, there we go.
Yeah.
Uh, well, everybody, we have been speaking today with Firefly TwinkleToes. Be sure to follow her on DeviantArt. Do you have Twitter?
I don't have a Twitter or a
Don't have Twitter
Tumblr.
or Tumblr. Okay, so DeviantArt is the main way to get in touch with her.
It is indeed.
Mhm. Commissions are not open, but keep watching. They may open up, and if they
Hopefully in a
do,
month.
be patient. Thank you so much for coming by and speaking with us today.
Well, thank you so much for the interview. It was really fun.
Oh, good. Everyone, this is OsakaJack with Into the Spotlight on Everfree Network. We'll catch you next time.